right? The whole podcast is just
It's a
Cleo.
jiu-jitsu match between the
Yeah.
the pit bull puppy and the cat, the kitty.
We just put them up on here, have them throw down.
Let's go.
That'd be entertaining,
Hey,
actually.
yeah.
Wouldn't be the worst thing.
Could practice our commentator skills.
Oh, there you go. That would be pretty good.
Yeah.
Oh, she's out.
Gigi's really
She's
good.
got
She's
the
an
neck.
escape artist, guys.
She's on the neck.
She's on the neck.
Hey, chill out. No.
Oh,
You gotta watch
and
out
she's
with
on the
her.
cable now.
No, yeah.
You
No,
can't
she's
hear us anymore. That's probably why.
Yeah. Here,
It's Cleo. And
yeah.
then Joey's, I was going to say, one day you'll have a baby in the mix of no credentials.
yeah, exactly. There will be a cat, a dog, a baby. Hopefully she won't be a puppy then, so hopefully she's kind of chilled out by then.
You'll only be able to interview people that have kids or understand
Yeah, I guess so, right?
what's happening.
Hopefully, eventually, it's
And
like maybe a
pets.
studio or something where I could just leave them at home. Or that'll be the
Right,
nice
right.
thing about the next place too. I'll have like a room dedicated for it and a backyard, so the dog could be let outside and I could close out the cat. That
And
would
it'll
be-
really be like soundproof.
maybe, yeah. Hopefully, I'll get like a bunch of these
evolution.
things. Yeah, exactly. So you're in phase 1, the Joe Rogan podcast when it was on the couch, basically.
Yeah.
Hey, chill
I
out.
think I've been watching it since. I mean, the ones you've posted, I like. Yeah, I
Oh,
like what
nice.
you're
Yeah, have
doing.
you
Yeah,
watched-
it's cool. I watched like the one with Isa, and then is
Issa's
it his
great.
wife? Is it
Yeah,
his wife
Margaret?
that was in
Yeah.
it? Yeah, that was a funny one.
That
Like,
is pretty
you
good,
guys-
right?
Yeah. You guys were just like perfect. 'Cause,
I know.
I mean, y'all are like great friends and stuff, so it was like good chemistry, of course. and
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
cool.
We were
Yeah.
also like on our way to a comedy show that night too, so
Oh,
it's like
and
we were
you-
trying to
yeah,
like,
that's
make
right, you
each
were
other
just-
laugh a little bit.
The one with Oscar and Gabriel.
That's good as
also,
well,
right?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
sure.
those are the
Oh, wow.
ones I remember.
That's cool,
Just
yeah, you
from
watch.
the top of my head.
Here, toss these on,
Okay.
and then that way we'll hear if Cleo bites off a cord. We just, it'll all of a sudden go dark on one of us.
Okay, so now we can listen to our own voice.
Yeah, there you go. Kind of like locks you in a little bit more.
Does it?
Yeah, I think so.
I don't know. I'm not sure about that.
It's like usually you don't have a conversation where you can hear your own voice just as well as you can hear someone else's voice. So it's like a way that you definitely don't talk over each other.
Okay.
You know?
Yeah, I'll get used to it.
Yeah. Some people do it without. You can do no headphones if you'd like.
Okay. I'm like,
Yeah. Or
Echo.
some people could do like one on, one off. It sometimes
Okay.
helps you like feel it. You're just normal.
if I feel like saturated.
Yeah. You hear your own voice a lot more than you usually do.
Cleo, you need a toy.
I know. Yeah. Right.
You need a toy.
All right. Quick pause. I'll go grab one for her.
Yeah, go get her a toy. Maybe, because the cable is more fun.
I know, right? And then
Yeah.
we really will hear. It's like a little bone.
She's just 3 months old.
I know.
Was
She's just a
born
baby.
around Thanksgiving, like November.
I think
or
he
no,
said October 27th.
October. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So almost like a Halloween baby.
Oh, she's Luke's birthday is the 21st. My son.
Really close.
Yeah.
He's the scales sign, right? Like the zodiac sign?
You're talking to the wrong person about the zodiac.
Yeah, honestly, I don't follow
I'll
too
throw
much.
something out there for you. I think he's a Libra. I think that's
Okay.
the one you're saying, right?
I think
the
that is.
balance.
Yes,
one.
exactly, the scales.
Yeah, it's-
My-
yeah. Libra.
my-
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, yeah, my dad's October 22nd, so that's the reason I know.
Same.
Yeah. Oh, really?
So I'm saying Libra as well.
Oh, yeah, same date, yeah.
Yeah. My dad is the 14th.
Of October?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah. So a
All
lot
in
of
the-
October people.
Wow, yeah, all
Yeah.
in the same neighborhood.
Yep.
Wow.
And I'm March. And what are you?
June.
June. Okay.
Yeah.
What is your
Beyonce-
sign?
Oh, Cancer.
Cancer.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm Pisces.
Nice.
They say they're like the craziest ones.
Yeah.
That's why I'm like, I don't know. I don't
Yeah.
want to listen to that.
To be honest, I don't know what any of it means. I feel like
Yeah.
I feel like they just kind of like ultra highlight certain emotions of like the human spectrum and say like, oh, this is so you. When in reality, everyone's sort of like a mix of it all.
Yeah. And then it's like almost like being like predicting things. Like, sometimes you can like throw something out there.
Yeah.
And then, that's how like psychics.
Yeah, exactly.
Kinda.
Yeah, it's like you've had.
No, I mean nothing on on psychics, making a living.
Yeah, for sure.
Maybe I don't know where they're at, but I feel like most of the time you can, because we're all synchronized in one way or another, right?
Yeah,
like,
exactly. Well, there's a lot of
humans.
like overlapping experiences that people have, right?
Yeah.
Like I remember one time I was going to get food at like when I was in college, and this guy came up to me outside and tried to like predict my future or something, but he wanted money out of me. But he told me, he's like, I know that there's a tough relationship in your life right now. And I was like, fuck, my roommate's like a dick right now. How does this guy know this? And in reality, like you could probably say that to most people, and someone's got someone in their life that's
It's like
maybe bothering them.
clickbait.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like clickbait. Yeah, because it's like controversy, things that like get a lot of people riled up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's kind of like astrology always triggers those things, but I don't know. I feel like I never really was the person looking up the moons and the way that, they align and all that, which I think it's the cool thing about astrology, actually. Like when you think about it, it's it's like where you were born compared to like other people, and where everything was like in the galaxy, placed in the galaxy and stuff.
That's what it's based off, right? Like at the time you were born, you were in a certain location in the universe, and so that had some sort of influence on who
in the
you
universe
are as a
that
person.
we know.
Yeah.
That's why it's like still made up by us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, exactly.
it's like, okay, I guess I believe this.
Yeah. I like those memes that are like you can't blame your emotions on the moon. You're just a bitch, Stephanie.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff like that, but I feel like, I mean, it's interesting to learn. I think when you realize how small you are as a human, and all these things in culture, like traditions, stories, then I think you kind of like lose judgment for things, and more like, I mean, at least for myself, like I'm curious about a lot of stuff, and I feel like sometimes that can like get me in trouble as well,
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
Like that whole curiosity thing, because it's just like the storyteller in me. I feel like it's always like seeking that like, different stuff. So like astrology, for example, it's like I find it interesting, but it's something that I never really went into depth with or know a lot about. But I do find it interesting. Like, I don't know, I guess in the way that it could be like for storytelling and all this stuff,
Yeah. You said Jay's also like a big storyteller. He's like a big fish type of guy. He was telling something. He was telling something. You're like, you always exaggerate so much.
Yeah, he's good. That's why he's a good storyteller. Right, like that's like the dad that you want. Yeah, you're like, this guy is like makes everything seem so much more like epic.
Yeah, exactly.
Than it actually is.
I had a friend once say, or like a friend's dad say, like, don't ever let the truth get in the way of a good story.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's like cooking. You gotta spice it up sometimes, and
exactly.
without the
just add a little. Yeah.
And it's all in the perspective and the of the eye of the beholder, right?
Sure, yeah.
Like sometimes, because we all relate to things differently, depending on how we grew up and our story.
Yeah,
right.
For sure.
It's funny. Like what one person, it's like, oh, that was like not insignificant. For someone else, it's like that's the most epic thing that ever happened to me, right? And it just always depends like where you're from, and I think that also shines through in the way we tell stories. Right?
Exactly.
Like
where you're
sometimes
from.
we tell stories like our dads, right? Like how we heard our dads tell stories, or our favorite uncle, or someone that was.
That
like
is true. Some people can be really good
teacher.
Yeah.
Right.
That is true. Like some people can be very good storytellers. It's like I think I heard something that like that's how information was essentially passed on from generation to generation. Like before there was like written word and stuff, people were great storytellers and then would just communicate these great, amazing things that happened, like prophets that came or, things like this. And that's probably where like all the big fish came.
The most famous book in the world.
Yeah.
Which one? I don't know. If you, the one I'm talking about.
Like a Bible or something? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He had two fish and
that's like a 2,000
he fed
year old
3,000
book.
people.
And it's still like probably the most read book in the world.
Probably some of the religious texts. Yeah.
is that a true data, or am I just like throwing it out there?
Maybe, probably.
I don't even really know.
I would say like some of the religions have to
Do people
be.
even read books anymore? They just watch the Bible on Instagram.
Yeah, it is a ChatGPT for the basics. Give me the Spark Notes here.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, Gigi.
I know, I get
she made an
a
appearance.
first guest appearance from the cat.
Her showing off her guard.
Exactly.
The Gigi guard.
Yeah. So where are you from? You've got like an accent. Where were you born?
Yeah, so I was born in Caracas, Venezuela, South
really?
America. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was born and raised there till I was 17.
Oh, really? Lived
Yeah.
your most of your life there?
Yeah. Yeah.
And why'd you originally come over here?
So when I was 17, I I came here to do an English, like take 6 months of English. So I did it, like, I don't know if you know this company called EF. They are actually still around, and they're like, I don't know what it
EF? It's
stands
like
for. Actually, I should
English
know, but
for foreigners.
yeah,
I don't know.
I
Maybe.
like that. Yeah, that's exactly what it is, because it really still is that. It's just, you know, kind of a school where you come in as from, like, there were people from all over the world, but they place you with a host family, you know, and then
You
they
live with them?
yeah.
Oh, wow.
So usually the host family will have like a room, you know, where you can stay, and then you're not paying them rent, but the school pays them.
Oh, interesting.
And then they have
It's like an exchange student type thing.
Yeah, yeah.
You send a kid.
That's
we'll
essentially
send a
what
kid.
it is. Yeah. And then
Did someone come live with your family, or this was just a place you?
So I was 17, and I just came and lived with an American family.
Oh, wow.
So it was just me by myself. My family stayed in Venezuela, and they lived there to 2016, and now they live in Colombia.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah,
Huh.
yeah.
At the time, did you know any English?
I feel like I knew enough to get along, because growing up in South America, or I feel like in a lot of places around the world, you're more exposed to English than Americans are to other languages, because we watch, like, you know, I watched like Friends growing up.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And I would watch it in English with Spanish subtitles. So I think I always kind of had an ear for it
Kind of
too.
pick it up a little bit.
Yeah, it's like muscle memory. Like, I had an ear for English more than I think, you know, people that grow up here.
Yeah.
Because here's like, maybe back in the 90s, right? Like, listen, like maybe someone was like, oh, I know the Macarena, you know, or something like that. They knew like 2 songs in Spanish, but now it's very different. Like, not only in Spanish, but I think like Americans are a lot more open to like more culture,
multicultural,
like more hybrid culture.
Sure, yeah.
Because that's what America is, a melting pot.
Yeah,
so.
it's always been. That's what it is.
But people are more open to it now, you know, so I feel like kind of.
Yeah, it was like in the early 2000s, people were like, you come here, you learn English. English is you better know English.
And
now,
I think it's not a bad thing. Like, you should, right?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just for the person, it's probably easiest to assimilate if you like understand the language. But it's interesting, like, America's one of the only, it seems to be one of the few countries in the world that like doesn't teach its kids other languages. Like, you go to Europe, most of them, like if you go to Germany, most of them know German, English, Italian, and maybe something else too, like Russian or something like that.
Americans got spoiled because they did, like, the media also, they, you know, Americans have like controlled the media since like the beginning of times. I think. I
Probably,
mean, maybe back
since
in,
like big radio and
let's think about it, right? Like, okay, go back in time. Like, what's the first form of like media? Was like newspapers, right?
probably newspapers and then
that.
radio pretty soon after. Probably
Right.
newspapers was the first one.
Right. So I don't
Early
know.
1900s.
Then I feel like later on, like when there was like in the 90s, the big boom of the media was American, right?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, everything we watched down in Venezuela growing up, I'd say maybe 80% was American.
From America?
Yeah, or
Interesting.
music we listened to on the radio.
Yeah.
So of course you just grow up with that, you know, in you more. And so whenever I moved here, it was a lot, like, it was not hard to adapt, like, how do you say, like,
Learn
adapt,
the language.
adapt to
Sure.
the culture and everything. And,
And was that in Arizona, the family that you live with?
no, I lived in California.
Oh, wow.
And Cleo's chewing the cable again.
Oh, no.
She took, can you hear?
I can hear you. Hey, no. What the heck? Let's separate. I wonder which one. You know what it is? It's probably one of the other, one of these ones over here. God damn it. I got to replace
Good
the
job,
cable.
girl.
Well,
Look at you.
she's one down, I guess. We gotta...
Really living up to the puppy.
I know.
That's
Jeez.
good. Good for
That's
her.
okay. Hopefully, she'll stay on the bone, and then.
Yeah, it's fine.
I've got 4 microphones, so it's probably one of the other ones. I just have to replace that.
Okay.
Oh well, what are you gonna do?
That's so funny. Yeah. So when I first got here, I lived with the first family I lived with. Didn't live with them too long, but I lived in a guest house with 4 Japanese girls. Like, that's
Whoa.
when I first got here.
Wow.
From Venezuela.
Wow.
I got to LAX, and I had to take the bus
Yeah.
to like this town called Carpinteria, which is like in central California, close to Santa Barbara. Like,
Oh, okay.
it's like nice.
Nice.
You
Yeah.
know? Yeah, it's like nice.
I love
coast
Santa Barbara.
towns.
Santa Barbara's beautiful.
Yeah, like expensive.
Yeah.
Like, but anyways, we get there. I get there, and then they pick me up and drop me off at the, in the house. They had their own house, and I was in the guest house with the 4 Japanese girls, and
Wow.
none of us, like, they spoke Japanese.
You spoke Spanish.
We didn't speak English. Like, they didn't speak English. I didn't. We were all like sign language, like, most of the
Wow.
time, and they just laughed about everything I did. But I was like, I have no idea. They thought I was hilarious,
Wow.
and I was like, I love them. Like, I love, yeah.
funny.
Yuko,
You're like-
Ryako, Yaka, and like the other one was like Naomi or something.
Wow,
And it's like,
those are
yeah,
names.
yeah. I know. I think I got him right.
Wow.
I know I got like Miko and Naomi for
How
sure.
funny.
Yeah.
They're just laughing at everything. They're like, are they laughing at
They
me?
did.
Are they laughing
Yeah.
with me?
They were like, no, and then Junpei was this other Japanese guy that was like my friend, and he always was like, you have to move to Japan, like you
Wow.
will be famous in Japan. I was like, I would? Okay, dang it, I'm gonna miss that.
He's like, I chose
I'm gonna
the
miss
wrong
that
country.
boat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna miss that boat. I chose the
Wow.
wrong country for
So
sure.
what was the family doing? They've just got 5, and like all you were
They had
around
all
like
of us.
17-ish?
Yeah, and they just fed us like McDonald's, and
What the heck?
they ate like good food. I know. And they just kind of like made a living out of it, So
They did this for the income, probably.
yeah, and then I met this Korean girl that was moving back, and her family was really awesome. And so the Peppers, and
The Peppers.
that's their last name, and they
They're
were
moving back to Korea.
the girl was from the English school. So then when she moved back, I moved into that house, and I lived with them for 2 years after that. Like, I went to city college and stuff while living with them because they were awesome. Like,
This is a cool family.
yeah, this was like a whole nother experience from that first
How
initial
interesting.
kind of like impersonal. Like,
Yeah.
y'all are just in the guest
You
house.
keep
and
it over here.
Yeah,
we'll
keep
throw
your-
you guys some fast food.
Keep your immigrant shit over there.
What
We'll
the
throw you some
hell?
McDonald's.
That
and
is
Jenny,
interesting.
Jenny Pepper, she was like, she'd make like, fresh tomato basil soup.
Wow.
And like,
She like welcomed you as part of the family.
they really did.
Not like
Yeah,
kept you in the cage in the back.
No, and they were the most awesome, and I'm still in touch with them and
Really?
stuff. Yeah.
How cool.
Yeah, they're,
You
like,
lived with them,
really cool.
for how long?
They had 3 kids, and I lived with them for 2 years.
Wow.
And I
You're
helped
definitely
them.
part of the family in that time.
Yeah, it was awesome. Imagine I was 17, so I lived with them till I was 19.
Wow.
And then moved in with some friends, like down by the college I was going to.
How cool.
Yeah.
What a really cool
Yeah.
time. And then or you stay in California after that, or when did you make your way to Arizona?
Well, that's a way longer story,
Yeah.
but I
Lot
will
of
try to keep
jumping
it
over.
brief.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just keep it brief. So when I met Jay, Jay and I moved here 5 years or almost 6 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's been a little while.
Nice.
But
You moved here together.
Yeah, and him and I have been together for 14 years.
Wow,
now.
how cool.
So out of those 14, 6 have been here. These have been like the longest we've lived anywhere, really. Before here, we lived in Dallas, and we lived in Florida, Tampa, Florida. We
Oh,
lived,
wow.
and went back to California for a while, lived in LA, San Luis Obispo. So we kind of lived all over because Jay kind of, with his job, always moved everywhere. But after we had the kids,
It's a lot harder to do
when
that.
we moved here, we were moving to Phoenix to settle, at
Yeah.
least till they get through school.
It's like our home base.
Yeah.
Huh. And where'd you come from? Why'd you choose Phoenix?
Well, it's just the weather, obviously.
So
And
nice
then
here.
Jay had opportunities here
Yeah.
with his job. And we had, it was like San Diego or Phoenix. This is in 2019. Yeah. Actually, we moved in April 2019. And yeah, it was good. Like, we just kind of loved the place. We come to visit before because his aunt got married here. And we
Yeah.
thought what a great place to raise kids because there's a
Nice.
lot of outdoor stuff to do.
Yeah.
Flagstaff, you know, Sedona.
Yeah.
And like Dallas, where we were at, it's good. You know, it's like the suburbs and stuff are, you know, a good place to live. But the outdoor life for me was just like
not good.
It was important to me to have with the kids. Like I grew up in the sea.
What is it like there? Is it like really humid? Is that why people don't like it?
It's just you have to kind of go more towards Austin to get like the good like outdoor life. Yeah, I mean Dallas, obviously there's places around like for hunting and all these kinds of stuff. You know, there is an outdoor lifestyle there. It's just more flat. Yeah, like it's different.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like here with the mountains and like being able to hike a lot.
So nice. Yeah.
Dallas is not a huge hiking place. It's an industrial city. You know,
interesting.
the way it was built, it was just more to be an industrial place versus other areas in Texas. And Texas is like a giant state.
It's massive. Yeah.
So,
wow.
but people like if you go more towards Austin, it gets more green and like you know you have like the Barton Springs there.
Okay.
I don't know if have you ever been to Austin?
No, I've not. I've been to Texas one time, and I think it was Dallas or maybe. What's the other one? San Antonio?
Dallas and San Antonio?
Is it? Yeah, I think.
Where the river.
It was one of those. I was only like 12 years old and I went for like a week.
Oh, you were little. Yeah.
Yeah.
So kind of like have like a blurry memory of it.
Yeah, exactly. I don't even exactly remember which city it was, but that was it. That's my only Texas experience. I've heard Austin is great. It's been like...
the jiu-jitsu now there, it's crazy. Since 2020.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like, how is it the jiu-jitsu mecca all of a sudden?
I don't know. It must be a great city too
like
because...
5 years, but,
like, because like during this last like real estate run up, like Tech or Austin and Phoenix were like number 1 and number 2 in the nation for people to move to. So it must not just be the jiu-jitsu, but like just a really nice town as well. A lot of people like living over there.
Yeah. I've been a few times and my sister-in-law lives there. Last time I went was just recently for the main character event.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
You competed in it.
Yeah,
we watched you here.
Oh, yay. Thank you.
The commentators were kind of whack. Did you rewatch it?
Yeah,
Taylor
I did.
like DM'd the organizer. He's like, he's like, talk to your commentators. They're not even watching the match.
I feel for them. I know some people were like talking shit about that, and I was like, I know it was like Andrew Tackett, and then Danielle Kelly, and everyone was like, Danielle was like trying.
Yeah,
like she was like actually trying.
Yeah, exactly. Trying to bring it back.
She trains with the girl that I fought against, and then it was like Kai Van, who's like he's from the East Coast, and he's cool too. Like I honestly think they're cool people, but it's funny because they're there all day, dude.
Yeah.
You know how that is.
I get that part of it too. You got to like maintain
some
professional element.
Yeah.
I get both.
I didn't get offended by it. I was like,
good.
whatever. I put music over all my highlights anyways.
Yeah.
And it works out great.
So you don't have to hear them talking about like chess or like, so they were talking about something completely unrelated.
I know.
Yeah. Like I think part of them, I think they were trying to be funny.
Try a little better.
I think they were trying to be funny is what it was.
Yeah.
And like some of it wasn't funny, or maybe for like us who were like paying attention to you, they were like fucking pay attention to the match or something. But I get both of it. You know, you want to be entertaining and funny, but you also got to like commentate what's going on.
Yeah. It's tough. I think, you know, those kind of events you see and people are out there grinding and you know, just like putting themselves out there to learn as well. Because like none of those kids, they're not commentators. They're jiu-jitsu athletes, you know? True. And like, I mean, for more than they're doing it, you know, it's like, I appreciate them doing it. I really didn't take it personal, you know?
Yeah.
It was anything that affected me or, you know, I think at some point, of course, if I'm doing something and I'm fully invested in it, I'll, you know, do my best to obviously like, care.
For sure. Yeah.
It's just more that, you know, it's like, if you don't care about the athletes going, like that's totally fine, right? But like, you know, at least like make an effort to like not take it seriously at all.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
you know, like these people are not invested in this, like the same, you know.
For sure, yeah.
In some shape or form.
Yeah, like I think it's got to be both. You got to be paying attention to the match. You can try to work some funny in there, but it all depends on what people want. Like I actually commentated.
I get ADHD though, and that's why I think I have a lot of tolerance around this.
Yeah.
Because I am so ADHD. And like, I mean, anything, I'm like, squirrel, oh, it's dead. Like, and if I had to be sitting there for like 10 hours.
Yeah, commentating the whole thing. Is that how long the event was as well?
Dude, it was long.
Wow.
Yeah, they were there for a long time. And I think they kind of were able to like take breaks. But I mean, it gets, you know, you get, you're underpaid. Have you seen that meme? We should show it.
What?
It's like underpaid, overstimulated, and it's this little beaver, like with these little beaver teeth, and then he's like, and has like I'm gonna show it.
That's funny. Okay,
You
yeah,
wanna
do
see
it.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
I'm like, I think that's how
That
I
could
would
be
feel.
it. Especially
Yeah.
on a 10-hour event too. You probably lose the importance of each individual match. You know, because
Yeah,
like,
unless you know the person personally, and you're like, damn, I'm like, you know.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
I've been guilty of that.
It just
too.
becomes
Yeah.
like, oh, here's the 30th match I've commentated today.
Yeah. Like, who are these people? I don't know
Yeah,
them.
exactly. Yeah.
Like some Master 2 lady from Phoenix.
Yeah.
I'm like, come on, guys, look, I got out of the honey stick.
There you go. That's actually tough to do.
See? I did it.
Let's see. Underpaid, overstimulated. That's hilarious. We gotta.
I'm gonna show
maybe we
everyone.
can-
I'll send you the thing you put
Yeah.
on there.
Yeah, just clip it in on the side.
Yeah, okay.
I'm not that advanced yet with editing. Hopefully we can do that. We gotta have Taylor in here. Taylor was acting as a Jamie for a little bit, so maybe
Oh.
like I see like when I watch podcasts, they'll just toss it up while the person's talking about it.
That's right.
I don't know how
They
that
have
happens though.
they
Maybe
have, like,
somehow to connect into this or something.
like Jimmy Fallon too, like in all the talk shows, right? They
Yeah.
have that other person, like
It's like something
someone-
pops up right to your right.
or like a song.
Yeah.
It's like look it up. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Keep us like all on it. Oh,
Yeah.
now you're gonna start biting my shoes.
Hey,
Oh,
no
it's
biting.
Okay.
But yeah, in regards to the commentating, part of it's like it maybe has to come from the organizer of what exactly they're looking for. Like I know I commentated a
Right.
like
Expectations.
yeah, I commentated a thing for Combat Sports Report before, and
Yeah.
or maybe I shouldn't even say it, but like he ended up actually getting kind of mad at me, yeah, for like how I commentated.
Beep it out.
I was also just trying to be funny during it.
He
but
didn't like it?
No, he got really mad at
What
me
did
actually.
you do? I want now. I kind of want to go back and listen.
I think actually it's unavailable now. He told me he's gonna take it off, like
Are you
edit it over
serious?
it. Yeah.
What did you do? Now I kind of want to know.
I was just trying to be funny. Like, don't get me wrong, I was commentating the whole time, but like, there's like someone that came up and his name was like Daniel Wong or something, or Daniel Wang, and I was like, Daniel, middle name huge, Wang, to the stage. so,
Joey, that's so
something like
funny.
that. Yeah, but like,
That's epic.
Yeah.
So was
think
it was
that's-
it like okay, I'm not maybe we'll just leave it at that because
Oh, yeah.
there might be some legal implications. I guess.
I think it's
going
good to
on.
like, pepper in both. You got to still be commentating the match, but I think a little funny, a little comedy is good.
You know, razzle dazzle.
What's that?
Everybody razzle dazzle.
A little razzle dazzle, exactly.
Everybody
Yeah.
needs that. Yeah.
Have you seen?
It's like we're talking about the spies, you know?
Yeah.
I think it's because when you're, I don't know, commentating, like if you're not a persona in a way, it's like it's not fun.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, you got to just kind of be yourself. Like I was just doing it like as if I was just calling the matches with my boys.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
I think that's kind of fun. If you watch like Barstool will host boxing events sometimes, and like it'll be like what's his name? What's the Portnoy. It'll be Dave Portnoy, who's like the head of Barstool, and like his friend or something, and they're betting on one of them, or they're betting against each other. So they're calling the match, but they're clearly biased. Yeah, like clearly
Yeah,
biased, and it's like it makes it more fun to watch. Yeah,
I agree.
yeah,
Yeah, the razzle dazzle's necessary.
yeah, for sure.
But that's funny that you got in trouble for it. No?
It's
Now
okay.
it's like that actually makes me want to go back and
watch it
find
more.
it. But
Yeah.
I guess I can't.
That's okay.
I did my first commentating at that event too, actually,
Oh,
because
nice.
I commentated the 135-pound bracket for the girls, which was the day before I
Oh, very cool.
competed. And I didn't do all the matches, but I did a lot of them. I was also covering for Gaidama. Cleo's biting my shoelaces.
Hey,
she's
get
okay.
out
She's okay. She's okay. But I was also working for Gaidama and just like filming some of our athletes and stuff, and just kind of covering the event because Kemoy, who organizes it, also helps us out a lot. Like since we kind of like launched the men's gear,
Oh, that's cool.
he's been like
Oh, I've
really,
seen it,
really
like the
helpful.
rated R guy.
Yeah.
I think is his Instagram name.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
He's from 10th Planet. Like a lot of people, the 10th Planet Austin, they do a lot of like content. They're
Yeah.
like big into social media. So they've been really helpful
That's
with
really cool.
Gaidama and our brand.
That's
and
really cool. And
putting us out there. Yeah.
That's awesome. Honestly, I've been seeing Gaidama kind of blow up lately. I see it like from people all over the United States, like repping Gaidama, and I'm like, damn, this is crazy.
And now I'll tell you a secret. We just signed Jet Thompson.
Oh wow,
you know
young kid?
the PGF. Yeah,
he's probably maybe 18 now.
Yeah,
he's got a crazy good Aoki lock.
Yeah. I think he won PGF, or did he win it?
I think he got second place.
He got second. Who won it that time?
It was Andy Varela.
We need Taylor.
Yeah, no, to be
Taylor,
our Jamie.
look it up.
Yeah, exactly. And
Jamie.
also Control Cleo. She could be the bull.
If this podcast has no audio, it's Cleo's fault, guys.
I know, right? No, I think it's good. It's we wouldn't be able to hear it like this if it wasn't connected. It must. That's why it must be one of those. But imagine the whole thing goes by.
We're like,
yeah, I think it was Andy Varela that won that one. He beat Jet in overtime at the end, so like it's super close.
That's
and
right.
Jet was
You're
actually
right.
favored to win, which is
that's
like,
right.
You know, against a super stacked
and he's
division.
17, dude.
What a beast! He's gonna be very good.
He's 17.
Gosh,
what are they feeding these kids? I was at ADCC this last weekend at ADCC San Diego, and it's insane.
Yeah.
Like the young talent.
Yeah, it is really cool.
Because ADCC has been around, like the Opens, for 2 years.
Wow.
But these kids are like the traveler kids of jiu-jitsu.
That go to all of them.
Kind of like IBJJF kind of like caught on to that, and they started throwing more like kid tournaments or adding kid tournaments to like what used to be Master Worlds, like used to be only Master Worlds.
Yeah.
Now
there's kids too.
It's Jiu-Jitsu Con. So it's not just that, but it's like a trade show as well. Like you also get to go like shop.
That's
like
cool.
Brands and
Gaidama
stuff.
set up there?
We're going to this year. It'll be the first time. We set up at Nogi Worlds. That was our first IBJJF event. And, you know, say what you want about IBJJF. They are the most organized, better looking. You know, like obviously they've been
very
around.
Clean, very professional.
Yeah, they've been around for a long time, obviously.
No dick jokes in their commentation.
I mean, I would put in a good word for you.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Just on purpose. Just for you to do that.
Yeah.
It's our conspiracy here. Don't tell anybody.
Exactly.
Oh,
right?
Cleo, you're so cute. You're so sweet.
So
you guys have to see how cute she is.
I know.
We'll show her too.
Right.
We'll show her off too.
So
yeah.
how did Gaidama initially start?
So Gaidama is a crazy story of purpose.
Really?
Finding purpose. Because, you know, for a long time, I feel like I was trying to manifest something like this for myself, you know? Something where I felt like very free to be that storyteller in a way, and in a way that, you know, brought together also me developing professionally, you know, like after, of course, like being a mom and coming to this country. It's like you always have that goal of like, you know, doing something for yourself. And I think we all do. We all seek for purpose. Like that's essentially why we're here.
For sure, yeah.
Right? So
figure out something to do while you're on this planet.
Yeah, so Gaidama just brought all of those things together for me in a way that I didn't even force. You know, I found Gaidama because my business partner, who's the original, she's the founder, the CEO, she's the original visionary of what Gaidama is, right?
Yeah.
It's Kendall. And so Kendall, she lives in Tulsa, Oklahoma. That's where our headquarters are at.
Okay.
And, you know, her and her husband own a gym over there. So essentially, you know, she was training and she just couldn't find a pair of spats that she felt comfortable training on. And, you know, she was like teaching with her husband and stuff. So she wanted to feel like, you know, she was doing inversions or whatever, and not like she had to adjust her things, you know, or
spats just to train,
or that she had to go to like high-end brands like Lululemon, Athleta to shop for her grappling gear.
Spend $150 on your spats,
and people still do that, and I think
180.
And I think that's why women do it, because there was just not enough in the market. Because think about it, the martial arts gear market, it's a very mass-produced, you know, wholesale.
Sure.
No, it's not a direct to customer type of business.
Yeah.
But that was kind of our like. We thought if we can like legitimize our product in a direct to customer way, then we can go into wholesale and really hit it hard.
Yeah, exactly. Like perfect the product to the people directly, and then scale
and really
it.
Be about quality. Like really be about like let's make this shit good. You know,
Yeah.
like people wear our gear and they like, we hear this so much. Like, I will never wear anything else now because I feel so comfortable and like
That's awesome.
the fabric is a custom fabric.
Your rash guard is killer. It's my favorite one for sure. As far as the actual quality,
Yeah, we
it's
should
really,
get you
really
more
nice.
stuff.
Yeah, I really like it.
We're gonna make you the Fox Fam February.
Okay, Fox Fan February.
Yeah,
That's cool.
yeah, you
the
gotta-
triple F.
Yeah,
It's like my grades in high school.
triple F. Oh man, yeah, ooh, high school. That was
That sounds cool though. So what do you do? Like something every month to like?
So yeah, we just kind of send a care package to people that are in our community,
Yeah.
and it's like just a lot of people that tag us on their
Yeah.
content already.
Yeah.
So I just look at our tag content, and,
Nice.
and then usually pick someone that I'm like, oh, I like.
Hell
They
yeah.
did something creative, and
That's
then we
really
send
cool.
we send them a package every month.
Nice. Well,
and
that's really
it's
cool.
cool.
The quality first is so important. Like
Yeah.
I've been trying to make gear for like butter smooth stuff because like I just trying to make that a
Yeah.
part of it. And the sourcing good quality is the hardest thing in the world. Like for all the ones that I've done so far, like now I sell them for like $30 each or like 60 for a top and bottom, which is like pretty cheap. But because like I feel like the actual material feels kind of cheap, so I'm not gonna
Right.
like overprice it. Like my
Dude,
favorite.
You know how much? Okay.
Go ahead.
I was at ADC San Diego. There was a hoodie. I'm not gonna say the brand. Going for $90.
$90.
There is
for one
not.
hoodie.
It's not.
Yeah.
They're just trying to make a lot out of it.
Yeah.
It's a hoodie. It's a hoodie.
Exactly.
Just because it has this name on it, or
Right, it could be. It's like Show Your Roll. Like Show Your Roll has like it's a cool brand, and actually I've got a few different gis.
That you like them.
Well, no, to be honest, there's a wild variance in quality. Like one gi I have is really good. The other one I never wear because I don't like it. And then I bought some sweatpants from them one time that was probably at least $60 or $70 for sweatpants. It's by far the cheapest sweatpants I've ever owned. Like it could be.
You don't wear them at all?
You could literally. I do wear them because I love sweatpants, but.
Okay. You're like, whatever.
But literally, the quality like feels like they should have been $5 from Kmart, like, and they're $60 or $70.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. It is hard for jiu-jitsu brands to make money out of apparel.
Yeah.
It is. And that's one thing we've ran into. Like, it's a challenge because people are like, you guys should like have so much more, like the sweatsuit, the sweatpants, and
Yeah.
and we're just dropping one, I think next week. It's like a hoodie and sweatpants
Yeah.
set. It's like fleece lined, whatever. And it's like 4 months later.
Yeah, exactly.
It hits winter like way late. But
Oh yeah, as
it's
it
like,
starts heating up, still cold outside. Today's pretty chilly.
yeah. It's like I call it a spring sweatsuit.
Yeah, there you go.
It's for the spring guys.
It is tough though too, because
Yeah.
like you come up with one design, and now you've
Yeah.
got to get this many smalls, this many extra smalls, this many large, this many medium, this many. So you got to get like so much product just to like have
insane.
one different thing. And if you're looking at different colors and stuff too,
Yeah.
now you got to do all that again for each size. So
And to
it's
make
a
a-
huge upfront cost.
Yeah, to make a buck, you have to sell it with a timeline. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
exactly. Can't just be chilling somewhere forever.
Yeah, if it's just sitting there, it's like, oh, man. But anyways, like it's a very challenging thing, but I definitely like, so whenever me and Kendall got together about it was around the time I moved to Phoenix, and she would send me prototypes to the original spats, and I would just like use them, like wear them to
Yeah,
train.
for sure. Yeah.
And I used to like compete a lot back then as a purple belt. And so I like wear them and I wear them to compete, and I just write feedback for her. And I became the first ambassador for the
Nice.
brand. So she was like, hey, do you want to be like our ambassador and like help
Yeah.
me? I had a coat back then. We had coats. So anyways, that's kind of how I got started. And then, maybe a year into it, I think she realized that like I because I went to film school and I knew how to edit, I knew how to make promotional content, and she liked it.
Yeah.
She felt it was authentic to what the brand and the vision was.
Yeah.
And I also pitched some ideas to her, like, hey, we really need to make, have this athletes team, right? Like if we do that and we encourage everyone to tell their own story through their social media, like through their soul, it was
Yeah.
kind of like the thing we were like, this is how we're going to build community. And because I felt like the same like space that she saw for a brand like Gaidama was the same space I saw for what it's going to be now, our production company and our social media growth marketing company. That's going to be something on my own side of things.
Yeah.
Like, it's going to be separate from Gaidama. And it's just like this whole world of possibilities opened up. And it all started from jiu-jitsu.
Wow.
I mean, that's the whole truth, you know.
How
like
cool.
we were both supposed to fight each other as blue belts.
Oh wow.
Like we were supposed to have a super fight, and she got injured, and then we stayed connected through Facebook and Instagram,
and that's how you met her initially?
Initially, yeah.
Wow.
Through friends. And
How interesting.
When I lived in Dallas, my friend has a gym in Tulsa, and they had this thing called Battle My Crew. And then they set us up for a super fight.
Yeah.
She got injured, but Jay got to fight Hunter Colvin.
Okay.
You know who Hunter Colvin is?
I don't think so.
He's really good. But back then he's like, he's been in Polaris. He's fought like Roberto Jimenez. Like,
Okay.
He's
Nice.
good. Like, he's
Yeah.
really good. He's recent, like last year, he had a heart thing.
Wow.
Going on, and he had to have like heart surgery.
Oh, geez.
So he's been out of the scene like this last year. But he's from Oklahoma. He's from Tulsa. So Jay got to fight him. And so I still met Kendall at the event. We just didn't fight. And then stay connected through the years, you know. And she was pregnant when she was trying to really go into the Gaidama thing, because she found this manufacturer. Like you said, she went through like 20 manufacturers.
Yeah, to find a good
really
one.
find the one that she thought best customer service, best quality.
Wow.
And so once she did that, she prototyped like 4 pairs of spats, and I think the first order of 200 sold out in a month.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah,
That's
I know.
incredible, especially right when you're first starting.
Dude, in 2020,
During
the pandemic.
Wow.
Like, it was like literally like, I think it was like May 2020.
Wow, how
It's like-
interesting.
but e-commerce was kind of booming.
Blowing up at the same
And
time, too.
It's
Yeah.
funny. Like,
everyone's at home, like
it's
buying
really-
stuff
yeah.
off their phone.
Amazon thrived.
Yeah, it
bro.
might have been the perfect time to launch it, actually.
Actually,
Yeah.
but we sure didn't think so.
Yeah.
You know,
It's interesting how the universe-
Not me, but like her, because
Yeah.
in that time I wasn't sure. I wasn't into I wasn't part owner.
Yeah.
You know, yet.
Yeah,
So-
no one knows. You know, it's like the universe reacts in weird ways. You think that, like, all right, the world's shutting down. Your initial reaction to it is, all right, we can't do anything. And then you launch this thing and it sells out super quick. The universe is
Yeah.
like, fuck yeah, do it right now.
Yeah,
Wow.
it's crazy because it's how like life finds a way
Yeah.
through the cracks, through
Yeah.
the concrete. You know,
Yeah.
like plants grow through that. It's almost like sometimes if you're willing to ride the hard times,
Yeah.
you know there's like something on the other side of that
Absolutely.
shit, like every single time.
You know, there's this amazing quote from Terrence McKenna called "Nature Loves Courage." It's
Oh,
like
yeah.
one of the it's one of the
I love
coolest
that one.
things.
Yeah.
Have you heard it before?
Yeah.
It's so cool because it's like it's basically exactly that. Like you think it's so scary. Like it's like on the other side of that, you don't want to jump because it's a fall, and you jump and it's a feather bed. You know, it's an easy landing. It's such a cool thing. I want to play the quote if you don't mind.
Yeah, please do.
It's such a cool.
Yeah, I would love that. Yeah, it's like the only way is through. And
Yeah.
you feel like the older you get, the more conscious you should be of that. But it's not true because our patterns are always real. And it's like you know, bringing consciousness to our life, it is like one of the most difficult things that we deal with. Because I think it's like 90% of our actions come from our subconscious. And so what are you feeding that subconscious mind? And like you're saying, if you're feeding it fear, it's like the courage to find that way through.
Yeah.
It can become more difficult.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's listen to the
I'm
man.
so bad at like fun. Okay,
McKenna.
here it is. All right.
We need Taylor. We need
I know.
Jamie.
Exactly. Jamie, pull that shit up. That's
Who's Jamie from what show?
the Joe Rogan Experience.
Oh.
Yeah, it's Jamie.
Okay. Sorry, Joe Rogan.
I know. I call Taylor Jamie. She's done it a couple times. It works out pretty good. All right, so this is it. Let's see if this works at the microphone.
T-Mark. Okay.
Terrence McKenna quote. Nature loves courage. You make the commitment, and nature will respond to that commitment by removing impossible obstacles. Dream the impossible dream, and the world will not grind you under. It will lift you up. This is the trick. This is what all these teachers and philosophers who really counted, who really touched the alchemical gold, this is what they understood. This is the shamanic dance in the waterfall. This is how magic is done, by hurling yourself into the abyss and discovering it's a feather bed.
Consciousness.
That's so good, dude.
That's pretty good, right? Yeah.
Yeah, you're
Hurling
like, this is why we need more mushrooms in the world, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
DMT,
Yeah, for sure.
DMT activation
Yeah.
for everyone.
Exactly, right?
It's real.
But I thought
it's
that
like
was-
you get so poetic. Like he obviously, like it's like so poetic, but when you dive deep into life, you are like, that's so real.
Yeah, exactly. He's a very good speaker. He's poetic with it. That is great. But it's so true though. You dive yourself into the abyss and realize it's a feather bed. You think it's like an infinite fall. It's going to be so scary. But nature loves courage. It wants you to do that. It responds by removing impossible obstacles.
Oh man. Yeah. If you also like, that's why like the DMT activation stuff, it's also, it teaches you that.
For sure.
You know, because it takes you by the hand a little bit. I don't know. I mean, you guys done ayahuasca. Yeah,
Yes.
you guys have done ceremonies and
Yeah.
stuff.
Have you done ayahuasca?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I've done about 7 ceremonies.
Wow. How
Yeah,
cool.
in about 18 shots.
Wow. Nice.
It was after the pandemic. So we tried to do it in 2020. And we literally got to Costa Rica the day before they closed everything.
Oh, no. Wow.
So then we were down there, and our kids were here with my mother-in-law.
Oh, gosh.
And then they sent us back, me and Jay. They were like, no. So we had to fly back out of Costa Rica. Like, well, everything seemed like the apocalypse.
Yeah, really. Wow.
And it was almost like, I felt like ayahuasca, like, no, y'all ain't ready for this shit. Get back home and fix y'all's.
Wow. Wait,
y'all
so you
shit.
didn't get to actually do it at that time?
Right.
You didn't get to ceremony.
No,
you
we
get
didn't.
there and you're like, get the
2020.
fuck back.
They said, yeah.
Wow, how interesting.
Yeah. And ayahuasca is such a nuts thing to do. Like, if you, especially if, I don't know if you ever gone like out of the country and like done it in that, like,
I did it in Canada once.
okay. Well, I guess that's Canada is like the jungle a little bit, right?
Almost, yeah. It's about to be the 51st state, so it's
Oh my God.
no. It's like with the place we did it was an hour north of Vancouver, and
Okay.
and it was during the winter too. So it was like it was actually beautiful. Like you had to drive into the deep winter, snow everywhere. It's
There's
like
a lot of nature, but it's just like
super
harsh
nature.
conditions.
Super harsh, super nature. But the place that we did it at, it was these 2 ladies who owned the property. They were like wife and wife. And there was a river that went through their property. And
Oh, wow.
it was such
sounds
a
really fun.
beautiful property. It was incredible because it's like, I guess it's just like a floodway that was going through it. But it was like this literally a river that like separated these 2 separate houses in there, and there was snowfall everywhere. It was such a gorgeous place.
You got to go to like both houses?
So they lived in their main house, and they did the ceremonies in their guest house, which they would let people stay as
So
well.
that was more like the maloca. Like,
What's that mean?
so the maloca, like what they, let's say in the Colombian tradition of ayahuasca, which is essentially like the natives in
Yes.
the Amazon, they're the original.
Yeah, for sure. It all comes from the Amazon.
It all comes from them, right? So like the maloca is essentially like the place where you do the ceremony.
Interesting.
It's like usually like the one where we did it in Costa Rica. It's like, I mean, it's more Western friendly,
Yeah,
for sure. There's
sure.
bathrooms. I think when you do it like in the jungle in Peru and shit,
You
like
just
there's no
poop in the
bathroom.
jungle.
Yeah, you gotta.
It's a little rough. You might walk
I think you
into
still,
someone
but you
else's,
still have guides. Like you'll still,
walk you to
like,
it. Make sure
like,
you're not stepping in any poop.
and then you have like the guy sitting by you.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we did it, there was about like how many people was in your ceremony?
So I've also done about 6, I think, so far. So
Okay.
in that one, there was maybe 20 people or
Okay.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, we had like
maybe
28.
25. Yeah. Okay.
I
Nice.
think around 28, 30 people, something like that is that they do.
Interesting.
Where we went to this place, Rhythmia. It's like a very like, it's the only, I guess it's the only medically certified place to like give ayahuasca or like,
Interesting.
how do you say, like, you know,
So
have,
you administer it or
yes,
something?
yes, that's
Yeah.
the word, administer ayahuasca like as a medicine.
Interesting.
It's the first plant medicine center in the world type of thing. So the way they go about it, it's very like there's still the mysticism to it, of course, because
Yeah.
all of the shamans are trained by this guy called Taita Juanito, who's
Okay.
like a, you know, his grandpa and his great grandpa
Yeah.
and his great great grandpa. Like
yeah. Taita is a common name for shamans, actually.
yeah, I think that's what it means.
Yeah.
El
Taita means like It's maybe
the
means shaman or something.
Enlighten or something.
Something like that, yeah.
And yeah, like in the Colombian tradition. And I always think like we just went to Colombia for Christmas. You know, my family lives there. And I mean, I grew up in Caracas, which is more of a city, like where they live in Medellin. But you really just travel like 30 minutes outside the city. And the world changes. You know, it's the third world.
Yeah.
The third world sparkles.
Goes from the touristy area to like the real city part.
But even when you go to the tourist areas, you're faced with a lot different things than you are here in the United States, you know? But I think people just live more present lives, you know, somehow. It's because you don't have so much like this oversaturation of information and stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's like they just live in the moment.
It's kind of like people on islands. People say like island time. They're just living moment to moment, not like worried about like getting your coffee in 2 minutes. you know, it may take 20.
Yeah, it's like the instant gratification.
Yeah.
Versus like,
Maybe
we're making this long soup on wood.
Yeah.
For the January 1st. Like, you know, it's like that's a big tradition in Colombia. Like people party on New Year's and then the first day of the year.
Night?
No, they just like put it in the morning and then people wake up like late.
Oh, wow.
And then you eat this sancocho. It's like in a lot of Latin America, it's like a traditional thing. But we were like out in the outskirts of Colombia, like of Medellin.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was interesting. Like
How
for
amazing.
my kids, you know, because they're from Scottsdale, Arizona. And then I'm like,
to
y'all
see where
need
mom
this
is
shit.
from.
Yeah, I'm
how
like, y'all
cool.
need this. And we're like going down a highway and they're like, I need to go to the bathroom. I'm like, are you sure? You want to go to the bathroom? Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
And then, you know, Luke's like, there was no bathroom. It was a hole in the dirt.
You're like, that is the bathroom here.
Yeah.
Wow. How cool.
Here's your summer camp next year, bro.
Awesome. That's
And then
so cool.
Dagestan.
Yeah. You send him Dagestan 2 years. You don't talk to him.
He's good. He'll
That's
come
hilarious.
back. He'll come back a man.
An incredible wrestler, at least.
Hey.
Wow. That's like why traveling can be such an incredible experience or an incredible
Yeah.
education.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah.
Like it's an education that's irreplaceable through any sort of like learning or online or books or anything.
Nothing, yeah.
Like seeing what other people, how they live, just their normal day-to-day life is so incredible. I'd love to be able to travel more.
That's the other thing. It's like seeing how much more someone can do that has a lot less than you.
Yeah.
And you're like, oh, damn, I better step up my game, you know,
Yeah.
type of thing. It's
Absolutely.
really, I think coming from Venezuela, that's always, I think, why immigrants thrive in this country.
For sure.
Because they're like, what? We have all these, what? We have tutors in the college?
Yeah.
Like, available to us in
Yeah.
the math lab?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm not gonna fail this damn class.
Yeah,
Like, I'm
exactly.
gonna go ask this guy
Got like
how not
infinite
to
resources
fail.
here.
But yeah, like I remember when I came to college, that's kind of how I remember being like, because they're in Venezuela, like in high school, they want you to fail. They don't want you to succeed. Like they are not gonna make anything available for you to help yourself, you know? Here it's the opposite. Here's like, how can we help you learn? Like, how can we help you do better?
Interesting.
I think even in my kids' elementary school, as much as I'm like, there are parts of the system
That you don't like?
of the educational system that I think it's very like in a box.
Yeah, which it is.
But there are parts of it that I think like, you
In
know,
comparison, maybe
do in
still a lot
comparison.
better. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like what we were talking about when I got here.
Yeah, for sure. Huh, it's interesting. That is interesting how you say like the immigrants that come here like look at all the opportunity, all the resources and are like, "Oh my god, it's so easy here." When people that are born here have this like sense of entitlement that like so much needs to be done for them.
Yes.
When maybe because so much is done for the people, it's
Yeah.
like almost like a never like insatiable, you know, without even realizing like they just want more and more and more without realizing like you've got to put in some effort too. And there's so much opportunity here. You can really become it's a land of opportunity for a reason. There's reasons that people come from all over the world to come to America to make something of themselves because it's one of the few places in the world where it's really possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think Americans have made that possible too, you know? It's like not always a knock on Americans. I think when I got here, I also realized that sometimes where I'm from, you know, let's say especially Venezuela, because there was such a huge wave of socialism, like when I was a teenager, right? Like Chavez, you know, Venezuela is still a socialist country because and this is like back in when I was growing up. Imagine 2000 is when Chavez took power, and they
Is it
changed
Cesar Chavez?
Hugo.
Hugo Chavez?
Cesar Chavez was here. He was like in the West Coast, like right, like he's from California, but same last name. But
Yeah,
I don't think
Chavez.
they're even related because Cesar Chavez was like Mexican American, and Hugo Chavez is the guy, essentially the president. He's already
Of
passed. He
Venezuela?
passed away, but he was like good friends with Fidel Castro from
Interesting.
Cuba.
And he brought socialism to Venezuela?
So yeah, he
Or
started
popularized it?
So it's like no, it's kind of hard to even call it socialism because socialism as the ideology for what it is, like he got elected by the people, you know. So that already does. It's like a social democracy, but that's also kind of like inspired a lot in Marxism.
Yeah, sure.
You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
like there's like a weird it's a weird mix of things that are like almost like a historical reaction to all the things that happened even before, right? Like the 70s,
Yeah.
80s, and all of the, global politics are
Yeah.
somehow connected and synchronized in ways that we can't even,
Yeah.
it's like the ocean. It's like, well, how do we know what's in the ocean? We can't.
Sure.
It's the same as
Yeah.
sometimes. Like talking about
Interesting.
politics can be the same.
So
to me.
what did that look like as far as like what exactly did he do to make changes, and was it like what were the negatives or positives?
I say mainly more than anything. Well, they came in and changed the Constitution, first of all, right?
okay.
So, and it was kind of like the people chose again.
Yeah. Like the people elected this guy.
But that's what, and they said there were elections to change the Constitution, and they won the
They won
elections
it,
to
yeah.
change the Constitution. But then after that, they monopolized everything. So let's say like the Congress, anything that was like a political institution of some kind was ran by the Socialist Party. Essentially,
Okay. So now there was no really change in parties.
There's an opposition. It's almost like they keep the opposition as like, because let's
Maybe
say
the
back then when they started, it was really hard to oppress for them because they were a democratic government in the world's eyes.
Yes.
But in what it came to the country itself, they were not treating it that way. Because in our countries, like in the, like Latin America, there's a lot of impunity. Like even all the countries that have a lot of oil, there's impunity in the way that there's like all this horrible shit that happens that no one pays for. Like there's no trials, there's
Yeah.
no law almost. It's like no man's land.
Interesting.
It's crazy.
So there's like an
yeah.
opposition, but it's almost like an illusion as far as like
Yeah.
illusion of choice. Like there's
Exactly.
they have no real chance of ever getting elected.
No, it's like been like 30 years now at this point. So yeah, that's where I grew
And
up.
so it's still a socialist country.
Yeah, and now it's worse. Now the oppression is worse. Like there were elections just last year.
Yeah.
In June or July, and the whole thing was like the government didn't even release the election numbers. They said we won, and then they like the numbers they came out with were like, let's say like mathematically impossible.
Oh, really?
To be like
True.
to be true. Yeah, like they all like were rounded to zero.
Oh. They all had a zero at the
Yeah,
end.
yeah,
Like what?
yeah. I'm not
Every
even
single
kidding.
number?
I'm not fucking kidding
Wow.
you. We need Jamie to look that up too.
Yeah. Exactly. So what does it look like from like the people's perspective? Like what are like the declines in like standard of living, or like is there less food? Like how does it actually impact the people directly?
It's really bad, I think, because it's hard to see. The first thing is hard to see because obviously, like this kind of government create a smoke screen, like the Capitol. Like a lot of my friends that still live in Venezuela will say, like it looks amazing. Like they've actually like spent money in like
Cleaning
making
it
it
up.
look nice. But the misery that happens, like Hunger Games, it's like the misery that happens outside of this luxury
Of the capital.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Of like the center area.
right. And so socialism starts as an idea to make everyone
Equal.
but it's an illusion. It's not real. It's making the poor more poor, and not even poor. It's like miserable. There is not even a level of poverty that I think it's hard to understand, but you can see it sometimes nowadays in America too, like with even the tent towns and stuff.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that kind of stuff. It's like that's misery.
That's crazy.
That's
And
like
so
living in.
Do these people just not have access to jobs, or
No, and the whole system's all built around the government, obviously, because they're, let's say you cannot go to the store and get what you want. You have a card where you go once or twice a month. I'm not sure what the whole thing is.
So it's like, here's how much food you can have a month. Here's your card to buy
yeah,
it.
yeah. And our currency has devaluated so much that now everyone uses American dollars, which is
really?
such an irony for a socialist government
Yeah.
that is like anti-American, anti-empire. They're
Yeah.
like anti-empire, yet like
All the money that's circulated is dollars,
dollars.
now. Wow. How
yeah, and the
interesting.
government, they're like they can't leave the country. Like the president, if he leaves the country, he's a criminal, like in international criminal.
Really? You can't leave the country.
He can't. No, the president.
Oh, the
of
president
Venezuela,
can't. Oh, really?
He can't leave the country. No. So of course, if there's elections, if he loses, the only place he could go is like Cuba. I think that's what they say, or somewhere where,
Okay,
where
so
he could be.
He's got to basically stay.
Yeah, they've been linked to like a lot of like drug stuff, I guess. But
Maybe there's like an incestuous relationship between
yeah.
like the illegal crime and government.
yeah, there is a huge like how do you say, like a drug dealing cartel that is from Venezuela.
Wow.
And they're all linked. Like a lot of people are linked to the government. They're even linked to like people that live in jail in Venezuela. And there's a jail in Venezuela that's like, I don't know, I saw something about it. Like these guys have like all kinds of cool shit in there.
Oh, no way. Really?
Yeah, like they have like sick restaurants and like the things like,
Oh, wow.
it's like they live the life in this
Wow.
in this prison.
That's crazy. That's like cartel members that get locked up. They're like,
It's crazy.
That's like,
yeah, they get locked up, but they still living the life.
that's crazy.
Yeah.
That's like Pablo Escobar when he had to go to jail. He's like, okay, only if I can build my own jail. And he just built like a resort for himself that he had to like stay in for a couple of years or something. Wow.
Yeah.
So people can't buy food if they wanted to outside of like that
No,
card.
I mean, so of course, because although this is the thing that all of this creates is a black market. It's
yeah.
the truth. Like
People just
humans
do it
are all
illegally.
humans are always gonna look for a way to do what you don't want them to do. Like
Yeah.
it's
But
like,
so like legally under the government, you can't just buy food without like the card that they provide
I think
you.
it's definitely more implemented or enforced in like the poorer communities,
Oh,
which
wow.
is the issue.
That's crazy.
Yeah, like I've heard of like little like these little gangs that they're not even cops. They're just like they're still from the government, but they're just kind of like lawless cops that
They just
don't
to
have
fuck
to
with
avoid.
people.
Yeah, they don't have to.
Abide by.
abide. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the word. Abide by the law or whatever. So
Yeah.
they just go and intimidate people, and they make someone an example.
Wow.
Like you stole, we're gonna cut your tongue in front of the whole.
Whoa.
Like it's that kind of stuff
Really?
that like growing up, that wasn't even a reality.
Wow.
Because in the 80s, like when I was born in 86, in like 70s and 80s, there was an oil boom. And so Venezuela, Caracas was like the metropolis of
Became
South
a rich
America.
company. Or a rich country, rather.
Yeah, a lot of people were like go there. It was almost like it's like becoming like Europe. People would just go visit and
Yeah.
tourist around and then that all changed. Yeah, that everything. It's crazy to see a country change that way and know like it was in my lifetime, but it's hard to grasp that it's reality sometimes.
Wow.
Especially living in this country now and
Yeah.
thinking like when I was 15, I was in a demonstration and they were like shooting at us,
Whoa.
and stuff. Like,
That's
and
crazy.
when
They were
I
shooting
look
guns
back,
at you?
they were shooting. So this is in 2001, and it was like a big demonstration and from the opposition, and like, my parents were from the opposition, and we were like in this peaceful protest. It was peaceful, like on the end, the people that we were coming there. But then sometimes what I feel like now when I look back is that sometimes when you're involved in these political activist things, you're working for people that have agendas you don't really know sometimes. You know what I mean?
Sure, yeah.
So even though I still feel like Venezuela would do better without this government, I still feel like sometimes the opposition is not
Isn't perfect either.
right, isn't perfect. So when we were there and stuff, being so young, sometimes you kind of start feeling like these people are not for your safety either, like
Yeah.
like why
Maybe
they
using you.
yeah, why they brought us in there and like so yeah, like a lot of people died in that demonstration. It was like 25 people or something.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. I was there with my mom, my dad, my sister, and we were sitting in this fountain, and then we saw all this like water like splashing, and they were like snipers on the building.
Whoa.
Shooting at the guy that was like the opposition leader and stuff.
Oh, wow. So this was people from the opposition or people from
Yeah.
the standing party who were shooting?
From the party.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because that they were. Let's say we were like at the White House.
Yeah.
So then they started shooting at the
Oh,
people that were
gotcha.
coming to the White House.
Oh, gotcha. They started
essentially.
shooting the people who were protesting in front of it.
And then there was like a shooting back and forth. But
Whoa.
at that point, we like had ran
Yeah.
away, you know,
Huh.
and my dad was like, hey, if you get lost, like take the metro to this stop or find a taxi, like
Wow.
run. But we didn't get lost. Like we just kind of stayed together and went home. And now it's funny what I'm saying because I look back and it's those things that sometimes you're like, was that a simulation? Like, what
Yeah.
the fuck? Like, did I go through that? You know what I
Wow,
mean? Like,
yeah.
now it's
Is
like
that just
20
a
years.
dream?
Yeah, like over 20 years later, yeah, you go, that what the hell?
What
like
an
that
incredible
shit.
experience. Yeah, because that's like a
It's-
real thing.
Yeah.
Wow. That's
Yeah.
insane.
Yeah.
That's crazy. People
Yeah.
think that it's like really rough over here. Like that's really crazy.
Yeah, and Venezuela it's hard to explain. Like same thing I was saying before. Like sometimes you go to the beach and the outskirts and you don't feel that stress. You don't feel that paranoia. That like, you know, obviously if you're involved in the politics actively,
Yeah.
then you're more. I
Maybe
think,
feel that more.
Yeah, and I think less and less of my friends and the people I know get involved in political activism anymore because of that reason. It's almost like you feel like you're bait.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
and yeah, it's like a lot of my friends down there now. It's like it sucks because they can't like if they have anything about the government like on their phone, they'll have to erase it.
Whoa.
Because after the elections, they get pulled over, their phone get checked, and if they find something they feel like it's suspicious, they'll send you to jail. Like they'll put you in jail, and now there's like torture centers.
Whoa.
Where they'll like torture people for information.
That's crazy.
It's really nuts. Like
That's nuts.
talking about it, you think like that's not true, but it is happening.
Wow.
Like, it's happening in my country.
That's crazy. That's like just a
There's-
couple
yeah.
steps below like North Korea.
No, it's the same.
Yeah.
It's pretty much the same thing.
Wow.
At this point,
That's
I feel
crazy.
Like. There's just more of a like a suave to it because it's Latino.
Yeah.
It's Latino socialism. So
Is that the awkward Asian aspect of
right.
it?
Yeah, it's a little bit like we're cool,
They add
right?
some flair to
Everyone's
it.
cool here. We're
That's
just
so
pouring orange juice on you, and at night, that's one of the thing I heard they do to the guys, like they're trying to get information out of, and they'll pour like orange juice on them at night, and this is a tropical country where there's mosquitoes, like
God.
crazy.
They're just eaten alive. Oh, so like
They
on
get
homeless
eaten
people or something? They'll
No, these are like
just
students.
Whoa,
These are students. People they
sleeping?
think. No, they take them to jail, Joey.
Oh.
This is the torture centers. I'm telling you, they exist. Like if you're somehow linked to some kind of political activism, they
Yeah.
can take you to these torture centers
Wow.
and try to get information out of you because they feel
Wow.
like you're connected to.
So they put orange juice on you and let the mosquitoes just
They'll-
eat you alive?
Yeah, that's one of
Wow.
the ways I was like reading one of the guys that I guess survived this whole thing because
Yeah.
what happened in 2020 is that they let a lot of the political prisoners out, and a lot of them got exiled to
Yeah.
the United States.
Wow, and so they
all
started
of
telling
these
their stories.
Yeah, all of these stories came out like not. That's like the nice one that I'm telling you.
Wow.
There's like a lot of messed up,
That's
torture
insane.
shit that you're like.
Yeah. Orange juice is
Yeah.
probably the worst of the people's troubles. That's like,
Yeah, that's like-
they're probably like, I'll take the orange juice, please. Because either that or get my skin nail clipped
Yeah.
off or something.
I'll eat the mosquitoes. And,
Yeah.
Yeah, you know that's the kind of reality that we can't even grasp.
Wow.
Right? Like imagine just being there and not even, just because of thinking differently.
Yeah, exactly.
It's rough. Yeah.
Wow. It's insane how politics can become tyrannical. Like these ideologies that just become like, I don't know. I guess it's like what the person in charge just wants ultimate power. And this is the reason for, I guess putting this fake guise of I'm doing this for the people. And in reality,
Right.
they're just trying to look out for their own self-interest.
Yeah. Like what turns that? Like what flips
why do
that
you start
switch?
that?
Or what's the subconscious? What's in your subconscious to like want to truly pursue something like that? Because I think
know.
a lot of times maybe it does start like purpose. Maybe it does start
As
with
good,
that.
like
Maybe
from good intent.
because when I look back and I think about like the whole Chavez thing. It's almost like you understand how people bring things on to themselves, like
they voted
through
for
history.
it. Like you said, they voted for it in the first place.
Yeah, and it was something that, you know, the culture sometimes, like you need something to make things different.
Yeah. And nothing's perfect too. I think people
No.
look at like the capitalist America and see these ultra rich billionaires and be like, oh, we need to like make it, you know, have food cards so everyone has food and stuff. And maybe there's aspects of that that's truth, but like it seems to be the actual implementation of these socialist ideologies like have never worked in history. It's always leads to just intense starvation and famine and horrible results. So while capitalism isn't perfect and maybe there's a better system out there, it seems to be a pretty solid one. At least everyone has an equal opportunity. You know, maybe there's not an equal outcome, but everyone has the opportunity to at least make something of themselves.
Yeah, I think that any system that nurtures the individuals, it's more important. Right?
Yeah,
and
than the group.
Yeah, I think capitalism has its flaws, but like at the core of things, I feel like when it comes to socialism, it's a lot of resentment. That's, you know, that's like the core of socialism. Sometimes it's like why we should all be the same. It's like we're not gonna be the same, guys. Like no one's ever like, equality is a beautiful idea, and I think it's something that we all seek in a way of fairness, right? Like I think because it's the inner child in you, like looking for fairness, like what should be fair, like that's not fair. Why does he get that and I don't, you know, type of thing. But when you go to the core of that idea, we're not gonna, like, you and I are never gonna be equal. It's not true. Like maybe you have more things than I do. Maybe I have better jiu-jitsu than you. No, it's
exactly.
like, we can't help those things.
That's just how it works out.
We should settle it, but not right now. I was just born with better jiu-jitsu than you, so I'm sorry.
We'll be the co-main event for Gigi and Cleo.
Yeah, it's like things that come from lack and things that come from growth mindset. It's right. It's like lack mindset, growth mindset. I think it has to be almost the same with politics, right? Like if we have a growth mindset, like, hey, we're all in this together.
And no matter where you start, you can get to a different level. I mean, I think that's the most beautiful thing about America for me. It's like getting to this country and understanding that a lot of people got far because of that. Because of the fact that community, like Americans are very, very communal beings. Like you go to other countries and as much as, you know, maybe, like I said, you learn with roughness and other things. Like here it's like, we're all gonna coach our kids, you know, basketball and like whatever this is. Like, I mean, I love that about this country, and I think it's what makes it really special. Wow. That's cool. Yeah. I mean, you learned your English from 4 Japanese girls. So.
And now you know why.
Wow.
Yeah, my girls. Wow. Shout out to my Japanese gang.
Nice.
The OGs.
That is cool. Well, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know you got more stuff to do, but it's been a super pleasure talking to you. I'd love to have you on again. I feel like there's stuff we didn't even touch on, like jiu-jitsu and stuff.
I know. We barely did.
Barely.
We just the important stuff on it.
But it's been so interesting. Leaving
the
learning
animals
about
chilled.
Venezuela. I know, right? They chilled out.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Shake hands awkwardly.